Welcome to the Staying in My Lane podcast, where we talk about things that are awkward and weird and uncomfortable. As I'm looking at my husband right now, he is going to join me today, and we're going to answer some questions and talk about how we met. And my dog is currently slurping water in the background, so I'm going to leave that in because I really just don't give a fuck. Hi, husband.
Hey,
How are you?
oh, just another day of being a trophy.
How did we meet? People want to know how we met.
You don't remember?
Tinder. No, I'm just kidding.
No. I'll walk right out of this room like I did that app. Bye.
Did you pick me up on the street?
No, that is... What?
How did we meet?
She has a master's degree,
I
and
do.
she doesn't make a lot of sense sometimes when she talks.
Very true.
No, we've met through our mutual friend. We'll name him...
Bob.
Bob's Burgers, I guess so.
Yeah, perfect. No, we met in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
He actually deleted me on Facebook a couple times or denied my request.
I did.
And as I've talked about in another episode, he does not have friends who are girls, and he likes to purge people on Facebook. So sorry if you've been deleted.
I'm not. It's my Facebook.
Okay,
and that's the thing. Hold on. Let's just go. Let's just talk about that for a minute. Let's just talk about that for a minute. People want to get so
offended,
butthurt about getting deleted off Facebook. I've had not so many, but a few people throughout my Facebook career.
Your career?
Yeah. Say to me, like, through like Messenger, like, why did you delete me? Why this? Why that? And like would have been people that I say had met through another person, like third party, friend of a friend,
like not somebody you talk to.
Right. So there's someone who's an acquaintance, you know, maybe like here or there, like I would like something, or like somebody like when I was in college, I met them, but I never, besides say like a one time of meeting them in person. And after that, I wouldn't see them again. And if I did, it might be like a month or two or more. And generally it's in another social setting. Right. So I never really saw the point of having them on my social media. Because, I mean, to be completely honest, they didn't matter to me in life.
Right.
So I would delete them because I never really cared about what they were sharing, and they never showed any interest in what I was sharing or things like that. Well, that's a ghost in the background. But anyways, so I would delete people because, you know, like I said, I would do a purge every once in a while, and they would message me and say, I can't believe you did that.
People don't care though until they're like deleted.
Right. But here's the thing. When you have like 500 plus people on your Facebook, why does that matter?
Yeah.
That shouldn't matter at all.
Yeah.
And excuse me, I would say to them, why does it matter? You have hundreds of friends. You and I are just acquaintances. We don't like each other's posts. We don't message each other. We've seen each other a total of once to maybe 3 times in like a span of like months to like a year plus.
Right.
So what does that matter? And they just would say, I just think you're really selfish.
We had to take a little break so I could move our whining dogs downstairs. So after talking about the Facebook thing, so we met for our first date on a weekend, and we spent the weekend together in a city, going to movies, going to dinner.
You don't remember the city? It was Des Moines.
I do.
It was Des Moines.
I do, yeah. We went to Olive Garden.
We did.
That was our first date. And we stayed until like right when it closed, remember?
We did, yeah. It was a good time.
Yeah. We actually went back to the hotel that we stayed at when we first met back in August, when we went to a concert. Yeah. And that was probably like the most fun I've had with you in a really long time, to be honest. Like, running in the rain after Slipknot was really fun, even though it was like honestly kind of scary, not gonna lie.
Well, yeah, let's put some context behind that. So we
You
went,
can tell that story.
yes, we went to Knotfest, down there in Des Moines.
Highly recommend that.
Yeah, that was what's the name of that park again? Because
It's Waterworks Park.
Waterworks
Yep,
Park. Yeah, so
Waterworks
that was
Park.
pretty neat.
Yeah.
I'd never been there before for like
Yeah.
anything.
I haven't either, actually. That was my first time.
Yeah. So yeah, we went there, and their 25th anniversary tour for their first album. So they're playing their entire first album,
Mm-hmm.
and they have like a stage set up from like when they were first touring and everything like that for their
was really
first album.
cool.
Same, like kind of like old school masks and get up and things like that. So that was really fun to watch. Yeah, when they started playing, a storm had rolled in, and like
Huge storm, you guys,
yeah,
not like a small storm.
yeah, like right when like the first notes of hit, the rain just came down.
It was actually the first when they hit the drum.
Mm-hmm.
The thunder hit at the same time, so that was really neat.
Yeah, talk about perfect
goosebumps.
Timing. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah,
and I mean, I think just for that, because it's a storm and they're playing. These guys are like all in their, late 40s. Well, we'll say like mid to late 30s now for maybe like the newer members to like their mid 50s, and they're just out there. And I think it just kind of goes to that weather pattern that came through, that it's could be a little hectic and chaotic, I guess, with the weather. But I mean, that's how their first album cycle was: hectic, chaotic, crazy, and it just kind of helped build that environment.
It was pretty iconic.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And then they all of a sudden, you remember seeing like tons of people just started like running away from the venue, and we were at the back. I mean, we were just kind of like hanging out and watching things like that. But like we just seen all these people start running, and I was like, yeah, maybe it's time we should go.
We should bolt. Yeah.
And good thing we did, because we no more than we got outside the venue gates. They went over the PA system. The venue needs to be evacuated immediately.
Well,
and that was it.
We didn't know if there was a tornado, because like it was like definitely tornado weather,
mm-hmm.
and it was dark, so like you probably couldn't see a tornado anyways.
Yeah,
but
and I'll be honest, that's what I thought.
Me too.
Because when they're like, it needs to be evacuated immediately, and then they don't say anything after that, I was like, that's not good.
And we had to run.
Yeah, walk, run. Like 2 miles, 2.5 miles back to...
It was 2.4.
2.4 miles, yep. Yeah. So just shy of 2.5 miles back to our vehicle.
Mm-hmm. And we actually ran through a field, and my feet were soaking wet because it was just like inches of rainwater, and it was freezing.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we get these like big gusts of wind and like a lull in the wind, and every time I was just like, oh man.
I mean, it was pretty cool, but it was also like really kind of scary as well.
Yeah. And
with alcohol in your system, and you're like trying to get to your car.
Yeah. But to our, I guess you want to say, credit, we really didn't drink that much, I think.
I think we each had like 2.
2, 3. I think I had maybe 4.
Okay.
Total.
But that's over
the
day.
The entire time we were there. We got there, what, like
1?
One?
Yeah, it was 1.
Got there like 1 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was at like 8:30?
9.
Mm-hmm.
We got back to our car around like 9:50.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, because there were cars still waiting.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing that we did decide to run. Yeah. / walk, hoof it, if you want to say, back there, because we got back to our car. It took us 15 minutes to get out of there, which was great timing. And after we had got back to our hotel room, we got cleaned up, because we were soaked head to toe.
We showered, then we went out to the bar.
Yeah, we showered, put on a bunch of like dry, warm clothes.
Yeah.
Went to the bar and
People
restaurant.
People were still waiting.
Yeah, at like
midnight. It was 12:01.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Because we were in that whatever bar restaurant it was, and kind of graciously, thanks for letting us sit and eat and all that stuff, because
Yeah.
we were the only ones in
The
there,
only
and they
ones, yeah.
they kept bringing us some drinks and all that, which was great because I think I had a couple more there. But I mean, yeah, seeing like on the venue like Facebook page, like, hey, is there any word on this line moving? Just
Which
like,
is crazy because I could
yeah,
not imagine sitting there for like 2.5 hours, like soaking wet.
yeah.
That's insane.
I'm glad you noticed that the bus thing too, because
I
before we
wasn't
left
waiting that long.
before we left the venue, like I saw this line for the bus. I was like, that's not too long. And then you guys said, oh, maybe we should just go on foot. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah. And then we were talking about it, and you're like, yeah, no, that lot that was the front of the line. It had
Yeah.
like jetted back so far, like wrapped around so many different places
That was
that I didn't
crazy.
see. Yeah. So
That was fun.
yeah, we made the right choice on it. And yeah, it was nice. Got our steps in.
Yeah, for sure. So we do share interest in music.
Mm-hmm.
We share interest in a lot of things. Food. We
Mm-hmm.
eat pretty healthy. We like to meal prep together. I like to, yeah, we kind of go back and forth on Facebook and share recipes and stuff. And
Yeah.
I make really good protein cookies.
You make really good chili.
I do. I do make really good chili.
Oh yeah.
It's too bad I can't share that, but that's okay.
No, that's for us.
It's my secret recipe.
Yeah.
So are the I almost said what it was. So is the protein cookies, because I'm not going to tell people what I use in that. Somebody had asked me for that recipe and I told them no.
Yeah, no,
I
that's
almost just said what I put in it, and I'm not going to.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Not like I'm not like a. I don't
It's
think
not like a big
anyone
secret,
would be upset, but I mean,
no.
they're good. But
Yeah.
that's for us to know.
But we do share.
Oh yeah.
He just cracked open his drink. No, we do share a lot of interests with working out, and I've kind of shared my journey on getting back to that. Obviously, been in such a fight or flight stage for so long. I feel I'm starting to actually kind of get back into that and not feel so pressured to do so. But yeah, like we just have a lot of common goals and common interests together, and it's always a good time. We like to go to concerts a lot. That's kind of our thing. We don't take a lot of huge trips, but we just take a lot of like little things together.
Yeah, and I think honestly, I think that's more like cost effective.
Yeah.
I mean, like in April, we're going to see Trivium and Bowl for my Valentine up in Minnesota. We're staying at the hotel that the venue's at. And
it's a really nice hotel.
Yeah, and then the next day we're going to see Trevor Wallace, the comedian.
Yep.
So
comedy shows are a thing too.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
This will be our fourth because we saw.
Oh my gosh, we said at the same time.
Yeah. So we saw because we've seen
Trey
Charlie
Kennedy.
Barron's twice, Trey Kennedy, and then now we'll see Trevor Wallace.
Yep. Yeah.
And
no, it's a good time.
I mean, we saw Charlie Barron's both times.
Oh, he was hilarious.
Down in Ames.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, it's great both times.
Trey Kennedy was pretty funny too. Overall, I'm just really excited to go to another concert, another comedy show with you. So
same. Yeah. Speaking of concerts.
Oh, are you gonna ask me while we are recording about a concert? I'm really intrigued right now.
Pantera.
Oh.
And Amon Amarth are going to be in Minnesota or Nebraska.
Yeah.
In August.
Okay.
And then Ghost.
They're coming back?
Have you not? I sent stuff to you on Facebook. Have you not looked at it?
I did, but I don't think it registered with me. You guys, you need to look up Ghost. They are the best, like concert wise, like putting on a show I've ever been to.
Oh, it was amazing.
It was literally incredible.
Yeah, we saw them in Ames.
Yep.
In 2018.
Yep. In November.
Yep. It was their fourth album that time.
Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah. And like their fourth album in like 8 years. You know, they just go.
Yeah.
And yeah, they played for like 2.5 hours.
Oh, it was like the most entertainment I've seen ever.
Yeah, they had 2 intermissions.
It was the longest I've seen anybody play, but it was also like the most show performance, if that makes sense, that I've ever seen at like a concert.
Yeah.
And I have a big name, not just like big names don't do that very often. So for them to do that,
Yeah, and that's kind of like their lead, like the lead singer,
yeah,
like the guy Tobias Forge,
he's amazing.
who, if you don't know Ghost, what they do is it's a very theatrical look.
Very.
He plays a character called well,
They have the clergy.
yeah, well, they have, so it's supposed to be like their theme is like a satanic pope, but it's very like
It's
Scooby Dooish, like very like,
yeah, it's not offensive.
no,
No,
I
not at
well,
all.
some people would still find offense to it, but it's
Probably.
very much not supposed to be, say, serious.
Yeah, it's
Like
not
they try to
scary.
make it right. They try to
Yeah.
make it that way, but at the same time, it's very campy.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
so like the lead singer will dress up in like a big Pope outfit, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like got like whites and greens and blacks. Depending on the album too, because every album they
They
like
do
change
something
the color
different.
of like this Pope outfit.
Yeah.
But then they had, at one point in time, they had a Cardinal Copia,
Yep.
and
That was a good one too.
yeah, that was after like their third Papa
Yep.
Emeritus, and then Cardinal Copia came in, and he gets promoted to Papa Emeritus the fourth. Now they've got this new one, Papa Perpetua the fifth.
Yeah.
So complete whole new look.
If you guys want to know what my favorite song by Ghost is, it's either Bible or Mariana Cross. Those are like the two songs I could listen to on repeat all the time. If I'm in a really depressed mood, or if I'm like feeling all of my feelings, I hate that saying, but whatever. If I'm all emotional, I'll turn that on and I'll just like it just like the energy flows
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
So yeah.
And like their stage setup, like the past few years, it's like looks like they're playing in like a giant church, like a
Yep.
giant cathedral kind
Yeah.
of thing, and which is pretty neat. And I wonder if they're going to do that this time around. But I mean, yeah, they'll be playing like arenas and all that stuff. So they're not coming to Iowa, which again sucks, because I mean,
That's
they
okay.
could definitely sell out Wells Fargo,
Oh, for sure.
100%. Or they could the Alliant Energy Center in Cedar Rapids.
Yeah.
Um, but
Mm.
yeah, so I think they're going to be in Minnesota and Nebraska.
We'll have to go.
Yeah, because that is something that I'd like to go to.
For sure.
Um, yeah, so yeah, like when I saw that the other day, I was like, oh boy,
We like to share
that'd be
things on
awesome.
back and forth on Facebook. We don't have Instagram. We pretty much only, I don't know. I use Facebook just to share stuff. I don't really look at things on Facebook, I
Yeah,
guess.
no.
But
Instagram got boring,
yeah, it did.
so just get rid of it.
Well, and I've talked about how like we just like talked about at the beginning, like it just was not very great. There's a lot of social media things that can just like make you feel like irritated, or like just it just seems like drama. And sometimes there's just not like, I don't know, there's just certain platforms that I feel like you get into the algorithm and it's just like negative. And but I don't like how Instagram changed, so I don't feel like that's a loss for me. And we both just got TikTok like in 2024, so
Yeah,
that was cool.
yeah.
I like TikTok. I go down the rabbit holes all the time. So
Well, I mean, like one of the big things that I don't know, I have not seen it. Maybe it's probably because of my algorithm that I have. Um, but like you had said before, because I think you got it once, like initially, maybe a couple years ago,
I
and
did, yeah,
you were like, there's all these like extremely woke, far left liberal people just like butt naked on there. I'm like, no other way. And you showed me that video of that one
there was,
woman. I was like, oh my, I was like, what? And
yeah,
you had just opened the
it
app
was,
and you had scrolled down
it
like
was
two
like
or three
free the
times.
titties or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But this woman I was like, oh
yeah,
God. She had like the short bowl cut hair, and like there's like blue, and she was just like freaking out, like making all
yeah,
these weird noises. And that was just after you opened the app up and scrolled down,
yeah.
scrolled through a couple of things. I was
Well,
like,
and then I got rid of it after that because I was like, ugh,
yeah,
this is what this is. I'm off
yeah.
of it.
Well, I remember asking like, well, why do you have this then? And you're like, I don't know. So,
I did. So I deleted
and
it. And then
then
we got it back in,
yeah,
got it back in 2024.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, we just kind of do our own thing. We kind of just have fun and live our lives
Yeah.
and
I
keep
think,
our heads to ourselves
yeah,
or our business to ourselves.
yeah. And just kind of back to that TikTok thing, I don't think my algorithm's going to have anything woke on it.
My algorithm doesn't either.
All
It's
my,
just pretty much,
all my stuff is like anything like veteran or law enforcement where it's like goon stuff.
yeah.
If you don't know what that is because you're not a veteran or cop, then you just Google
Yeah.
it. And then like a lot of like Christian stuff,
Yeah.
like then like some like Christian crusade stuff,
Oh,
which
yeah.
could be controversial to some people because the crusades were awful and Christianity had no right to do that. False.
You should go back and listen to my religious trauma episode because I did ask you if you knew what religious trauma was. And it's a big topic. It's a hot topic right now. That's actually
Religious
trending
trauma. Yeah,
on
some
TikTok.
people go into an organized religion like Christianity and they get it and they're Catholic or they're Lutheran or they're Protestant. They go into the church
Yep.
and the church says if you don't act this way, if you don't act appropriately, then God hates you and you're going to burn in hell, which is not anything God has said. God had the at all.
Well, even in the Catholic religion, if you get divorced, you're supposed to go to hell.
Yeah.
And
See, so
I was so terrified to get divorced.
you know, in when people say that
Mm-hmm.
and they create that religious trauma because it scares people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's traumatizing that, oh, well, you're going to go to hell.
Yeah.
Well, aren't all of my sins forgiven through Christ who died on the cross?
It's a kind
for
of a
me
contradiction. And that's
and for
why
you and for everyone. So
mm-hmm.
That's the thing. I'm a Christian. I will say that 100%.
Yeah.
I'm a Lutheran because of my last marriage. Okay. It's neither here nor there. But I don't subscribe to going to a church. I don't have to go to a church.
I think that's a fallacy, though, to have a relationship with God. You don't have to go to church to.
Right. Well, I think if you worship with other people, you agree with other people, yeah, mm-hmm. That's great. That's a thing to do. But does going to church, if I don't go to church, regardless of that, if right. I ever say I never step foot in a church again to praise and worship, mm-hmm. Out of all the good things I do in life, out of all the times I would pray for forgiveness of sin, and mean it when I do it, regardless, when I die, I go before Christ and God, and they're like, well, you didn't go to church.
My thing is
you're going downstairs.
Yeah.
My
thing is that if God is truly everywhere and you can have a relationship with God wherever.
It's not if he is it. He is.
Exactly. But I'm saying if, like, to challenge that. So if you're saying that he is everywhere, or if you're saying that, you don't have to go to church, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I think what it is there over the centuries and thousands of years that mm-hmm. organized religion has been around.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of human interference and influence for control.
Gotcha.
That's what I believe it is.
Yeah.
I believe that wholeheartedly in Christianity, that people will try to have what they want done and say it's through God, and God tells them to do this and that. Sometimes maybe it is. Other times I think it's through control.
I've seen that.
And they know that. And it's just gone down through the years.
We've talked about that.
And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong.
Yeah. I'm more spiritual than I am religious. I think there's a balance. I think, like, I believe in a lot of different things, and my beliefs have changed, and obviously I know that I don't get, like, agreement from everybody, but I just feel like there's a lot that I question. And, I've recently started to, like, wonder if we can be reincarnated. And I know that's kind of like something people don't want to, but, like, what if when we get to heaven, God has another purpose for us, and he says, like, I have a purpose for you? Because I've actually read, this has been trending on my TikTok, is, like, kids who are born again, or who are born and, like, they said that they lived before, so they're, like, born again, and they will, like, go into vivid experiences and detailed experiences of, like, what their previous lives were. So, like, how do these, like, 3 and 4-year-olds know exactly, like, what their life experiences are? Like, for example, one of our kids has talked about how they lived before, and they have all these like vivid experiences and detailed experiences that they've talked about, it just makes me question things.
Right. Well, also that same child talked about seeing our grandmothers.
Which would be her great grandmothers.
Yes,
Yep.
thank you. Her great grandmothers before she was born, and how they both kissed her on the forehead, and she had
The angel mark or
the angel
whatever.
mark,
Yep.
yeah, on her forehead. And
she like detailed talked about coming out and like when I had my C-section and seeing us and
seeing the lady in blue,
seeing the lady
and
in,
she said,
yep.
"Here's your baby."
And that's exactly what,
It's literally what the doctor
yeah,
said. And she
and
was
the
wearing a
lady
blue
was,
gown and,
yep.
and blue mask and
Yeah.
blue cap.
Yeah.
Like, and she said, like, there was that plastic in the way too.
Yeah, because she said I couldn't kiss. She's like, I couldn't kiss you right away because there was a plastic above your face, which we had done the interactive C-section birth where the plastic was above there, so I could see what they when they were bringing her out over me. Yeah. And she's like, yeah, they said I had the biggest cheeks, and that's exactly what they said. And it was really, yeah. It was, oh my gosh, we both like freaked out when she said that.
Yeah, well, too, like the whole talking about the grandmothers thing, because
yeah, she named our grandmothers by name and did not
she didn't know their names. No, because no one had told her.
Yeah.
And like, because whenever we go to my mom and dad's house, she would see the picture of my grandma, my mom's mom, and she would always just get excited and laugh and giggle and point at her. And for years on end, it was like she couldn't talk, but then when she was able to talk and comprehend what she was saying, she said her name. She said, "That's my great grandma."
Oh, that gives me goosebumps.
And it was like, yeah, grandma. And we'd say, like, yeah, grandma told you that. She goes, no, she told me that.
Yeah.
She told me that. Her and my great grandma so and so, your great
my great grandma, yeah.
Your grandma. Like, yeah. I saw them before I was born. They both kissed me on the forehead and said that they loved me. And then all of a sudden it went from dark to bright, and this lady in blue said, "Here's your new baby."
Yeah, because she said that my grandma was there and my grandpa was standing by her.
Yeah.
And she said my grandpa's name, and she was like, "And your grandpa?" And she said, and he was holding on to your grandma, and they were going to go square dancing. And fun fact, my grandma and grandpa used to square dance all the time.
Yeah.
And it was really like, I was like, oh my God, like this kid actually, like,
yeah.
I believe she saw them. I believe that.
So do I.
100% that she was able to talk to them.
I believe that with every fiber of my being, and I think that just goes to show that, I think that's one of those little things that God will give us in life to say, hey, tell your great grandchild this, and then because they know that, hey, they're going to tell their parents that.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's just to help rebuild and solidify everything.
Yeah, for sure. Well, when we talk about our relationship and like all of the good things, obviously we've talked about a lot of good things. And how do we, one question that someone had asked me is like, if you're in a relationship and like someone has been through a lot of trauma, which I'm not saying you've been through a lot of trauma, but like we've both been divorced. We were both married prior and cheated on and lied to. How do we navigate those relationship challenges? Because obviously we've had a lot of shit happen. So I do think communication is probably the biggest. But it's also been very hard.
Yeah, communication and understanding.
Yeah.
That this person has gone through something similar, but yet unique and different to their own experience.
Yeah, I have actually felt like you've supported me a lot. And I've admitted that I've been toxic and I haven't known how to deal with things. And I've dealt with things in not the best way. But I feel like that's something I'm getting better at. I think going through what we went through with the kids has been really hard. But I feel like, there's a reason that we go through things. And I don't know. I feel like it's made us stronger overall. So just communication. I think honesty. Having those honest conversations, we have those a lot, and we don't keep secrets. So, yeah.
And obviously these trials in life will make us more, I guess, more mentally strong and be able to deal with things and help others too. Because obviously other people will go through something similar. And if you've been through something like that, it makes you more available because, say like I know for me, when I went through things, I didn't have really anybody like our mutual friend was going through a divorce too.
Yeah.
But we didn't we relied on each other to just
be
hang
there.
out and go out and do stuff, and our he and I's relationship got very, very strong through that, and it still is. But just say that one to just kind of like be a confidant, just talk to, like, or what have you. Like, I didn't have that because, like I said, I didn't see anybody that could do that. Our mutual friend, he was going through his thing, so I didn't want to pour my stuff onto him, and he didn't want to pour his stuff onto me. So we just kept our friendship, and we just built it up to the strong pillar that it is now.
Yeah.
But since we've gone through that, I know for me, I've been able to talk to some people and kind of like give them like some words of advice, or even just to be an ear to listen to,
What is your word of advice for someone who's going through something hard?
In what context?
Just in general, if you're going through some shit in life, what's your words of advice? If you
Stay
feel
the
like
course.
stay the course. If you feel like you're at your lowest point, what would you say to somebody who felt like that?
Welcome to the bottom. The only way now is up.
Yeah.
Because that's really what it is. I mean, it's a failure in life.
I think you have to hit rock bottom though before you can like really start to make those changes.
Right. Yeah. After you hit rock bottom, like I said, the only way is up. And that's so easy to say. But when you're in there and it just, it feels like there's nothing, like you're at rock bottom, nothing there. What's the point of living? You hit rock bottom, you see no way out, you feel like you're drowning, you feel like you have all this weight on your shoulders that's holding you down. I get it. Been there.
Yeah.
I've been in really dark places a few times in my life.
Yeah.
And it always gets better.
I feel like that's what like makes us who we are today though. I feel like that's why we mesh so well too, is because we both balance each other out and we both have that like voice of reason too.
And and you're gonna fail in life.
Yeah. Failure is part of it.
But look at it this way. I look at it this way because when I worked out like so many, like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I would always, when I would train legs, I always felt like that was kind of like one of the weaker points when I was working out. I always wanted to get stronger, and I found this it's like an Arnold Schwarzenegger speech. And he always talked about failing and failure in life, and he's a very successful man. He would always say, I'm not afraid to fail. I've failed many times. And he says, look, he's like, this is the ground.
I've actually heard that, so I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's, how far can you actually fall? There's the ground. The ground is just as far away as the length of your legs. If you fall down, you can always get back up.
Those like failure, like those motivation / failure, like compilation or whatever those are. I had a friend send me that when I was going through my divorce, and that's kind of what like pushed me out of like that really like not feeling sorry for myself, but just like feeling at that low point. And like especially when I was living in my car with my kids, like and that's something that like people probably just learned about me on the podcast, because even my own family didn't know that. I would listen to that constantly, and I would always tell myself to keep going. So it really got me through. But yeah, I like that stuff. So
because like when I would listen to that, I mean, that speech also, what, they talk for more things in my life, I mean, around that time, like, I got divorced from my first wife. She took all my money. She took all of it, spent all of it. We're talking like
Thousands.
almost 100 grand
Wow.
worth of stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like if you're, you know, 19, 20 years old,
Yeah.
you got $25,000 in your account. That's pretty good. That's
Right.
damn good.
Right.
Oh, hey, here's this girl. Yeah, dating. Oh, I love her so much. I got the money I can spend. I can spend it. Oh, look, we're getting married because I'm deploying to Warzone. Hey, look, I'll get this house. First time home buyers kind of thing,
Yeah.
Easy. I go, risk my life, die almost a few, like 2 or 3 times, pretty close. And, oh, come back home. Where's all the money? Where's your degree in school? You don't have that?
Mm-hmm.
You weren't actually going to school. You were going to every week.
Why that town?
Because that's where our mutual friend's wife was living at the time when he was deployed, the same time I was.
Yep. Yep.
And well, who are all these dudes? These are your friends. You stopped going for your
Yeah.
dance and whatever. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay. You're hanging out with them a lot.
How did you feel in that moment?
Very bad. Because we had a plan.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't stick to it. Instead of getting her schoolwork done, getting her AA for her photography or whatever, because she wanted to open up a photography thing and do great. And she took great pictures. I admit that 100%. She took great pictures. She had a talent for it. No, she wanted to party. She wanted to also cheat on me with these gentlemen who were all part of that. Wow, thanks. Thanks, boys. Thanks for showing me that she wasn't worth my time in the end. Thanks. Yeah. I do appreciate you taking that burden out of my hands.
Oh, I felt that way about the strippers.
But anyways, yeah. Come to find out, she's letting these she's letting these men wear my clothes while I was gone.
Yikes.
Tell me that. You're as a woman, if you hear that a woman her husband is deployed somewhere and she's sleeping with these guys, and yet she lets them wear his clothes, her husband's clothes, how disrespectful is that?
It's pretty disrespectful, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that?
I just think that, this is my opinion on, if you are married, you need to be loyal. But then if your husband is, say, deployed and you're not, doing your part as the spouse that's home and taking care of everything that, taking care of everything that, they are relying on you to take care of, and also including that loyalty and honesty, then that speaks more about your character than anything.
Yep. I was told that the reason why she cheated is she just couldn't handle being lonely or some crap like that while I was gone. Like, really?
It's kind of a weird excuse.
Yeah. And then I come back and I find out she spent all this money because she was screaming and yelling at me for buying some stuff.
Yeah.
On my D-Mob. I'm like, what are you yelling at me for? Don't we have all this money? She's like, no, I lied to you. I really fucked up. I spent all of it.
So with us
plus both, some. She spent like 90 grand in a year. 90 grand tax free.
With us both being cheated on and lied to, and then my husband, my ex-husband, taking my money as well. That kind of is like why we had to really come up with a plan when we were first dating, and we had to build that trust, because like with me, I was working 3 jobs and he wasn't even working. And so it's kind of like, not saying I was deployed because that's, but like we were both doing like the like taking the primary role of our marriages, and we were both supporting our spouses. And it's just really, it's a big slap in the face, though, for people who don't know how that feels. It's a really big slap in the face.
Yeah, here's an even bigger slap in the face to continue on, because nobody knows this. Nobody knows this stuff.
Mic drop.
But you know what? I'll say it on here, because my ex-wife, she and I got divorced. It will be 11 years. Like decree of dissolution in the mail. It will be 11 years this June.
Okay.
For 12 years. Because she still talks about it, and you've been told things.
Yeah.
For 12 years now, she has walked around and said that I used to physically abuse her.
I have heard that.
For 12 years. Mind you, listeners, she has been remarried, and she has 2. So, 12 years saying I physically abused her. I had people, like when she first was saying that, I had guys I worked with come up to me and say, dude, I need to know if this is real.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you've known me for, at that time, 7 years.
Yeah.
Where and when have you ever saw that in my character?
Right.
And he's like, I know, I just need to hear it for me. And I told him, no, I've never laid a hand on her in anger. I've never laid a hand on her at all.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, sure. She used to be a CNA, right? So in that profession, you have to deal with the elderly. You're trying to help them up and down, things like that. And they can be argumentative and combative, you know. Sometimes she'd come home with black eyes, and I'd ask her, like, what happened? Are you okay? Things like that. Like, why do you have a black eye? And she's like, had a client, older, dementia, or didn't want this, didn't want that. She was saying those were from me.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, well, now, you've never laid a hand on me, so.
Correct.
I can confirm that it's not true.
There were other people that I worked with as well. Women.
Yeah.
And I would say, no, you're a liar and a bitch for saying that. I kept my mouth shut because I was like, you know, that's just who she is, because it's just the trend that she does. I can tell you, she used to tell me that all of her boyfriends prior to me, which would have been like when she was in high school, all of them used to beat on her, is what she said. She was always so scared of them.
Yeah.
Every single one of them used to hit her.
And obviously we're not taking away from anybody who has been, but seems to be like sometimes used as an excuse to get attention or seek that attention.
Yeah. So, okay.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And if they were, shame on you. Sorry.
Shame on them.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
I
had a little choke in my throat there. I couldn't say shame on you for doing that to her.
Yeah, yeah. You know,
but that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Oh yeah.
That's way to be a man, right? Trying to prove how tough you are by putting your hands on a girl. No. But shame on her for putting me in that same category, trying to.
Yep.
And, you know, I can remember when her and I were going through our divorce, because what had really pushed her over the edge is she promised me that she wouldn't do that again. She kept talking to one guy, and then she started talking to another guy, and then come to find out, when I go to my drill weekends, I'd be up in Spencer. I'd be 2 hours away. People call me, hey, your wife's out with this dude. They're very touchy-feely.
Wow.
I didn't want to believe him, but that's what it was. And then that's kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back. And then we were going through our divorce. And at one point, and she was with this second guy. She was living with him. And she tried to get a hold of me. And said that, well, he just beat me up. And I was just kind of curious and thought, like, why are you reaching out to me? What do you think I'm going to do for you?
Yeah.
You tried to ruin my life. You tried to ruin my reputation. I'm not going to care. That's on you. Call the cops.
Right.
You never called the cops on me for all these allegations that I supposedly did to you. Call the cops on him then.
I think it's good to hear you normalize that, though, because I feel like violence or like accusations against men aren't taken seriously because women kind of dominate that. And, I think it's so normalized for like women to be the victims of somebody's like, emotional or physical abuse or whatever. So for her to do that to you, I feel like that's good that you're normalizing that.
She's done it for years.
Yeah. But I feel like it's good you're normalizing that for sure.
Yeah. Because, I mean, we all know people who know one another in this town. And I have people who reach out to me who say, she's still trying to push that narrative.
Yikes.
Of you being physically abusive to her.
Wow.
And I, like after her and I got divorced and it was done.
Yeah.
Finalized.
Done.
Decree of dissolution in my hand.
Yep.
I saw her one time. So with our buddy, mutual friend, we were at a bar and it was a Friday or Saturday night. And he and I were just doing our thing. And she's out doing her thing with her friends. I'm like, okay.
How recent was this after you guys were divorced?
Oh, God, this has probably been like a month or two later.
Okay. Just for context. Yeah.
She tries talking to me. She's like, hey, how are you? I'm like, I'm fine. And then I kind of turn and face back towards the bar, and she's like, and mind you, she approached me. I didn't approach her. I was at the bar.
It's a little weird if you...
I was at the bar.
Yeah.
She's like, oh my God, how are you? I'm fine. Because she first tried to talk to our friend.
Yeah.
Then to talk to me.
You. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's like, drinking Coors Light like always. I'm like, that's the beer that I like, yes. Yep. She's like, you should do a shot with me. I'm like, and I looked at her.
And you guys are divorced at this point.
Yeah.
That's awkward.
And I looked at her and I said to her, I'm like, you of all people know I don't like taking shots.
Right.
And I don't do them. And I'm not going to do them. She said, come on, just do a shot with me. I said, no.
After everything she said about you.
After everything she said about me, after cheating on me multiple times, after making me think I can trust her financially, and she drained out everything that I had, everything that I worked so hard for. I went from not needing a single thing to being financially dependent on my mom and dad for years on end after that, just to get by.
Yeah, I know that feeling, and it's really hard to do that.
It is, and it's, as a man, it's even harder.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Because there is a certain stigma about men that you need to be self-sufficient and you need to be able to do this. And I was, and she took that away.
Yeah, that had to have been really hard for you.
It was for a long time.
Yeah.
Like I said, years. And yeah, so for her to be like that, I was like, no, I'm good. Right. And I think not long after that, like either she left or me and our friend left. And that was 2014. I didn't see her again until it would have been what, like 2019, when, because that's when I would have started working out at I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because she was working out there or something. That was the first time I saw her. And so in like 5 years,
Yeah.
I hadn't seen from her. I hadn't heard from her. But I was being told that she's still talking all of that same narrative. I'd hear that from time to time, and I'd say, I don't care.
Right.
I don't care. You know it's not true. I know it's not true. A lot of people who know her know she's a liar.
Right.
I don't care.
Yeah, that's always hard though. I feel like when people like try to like ruin your reputation.
Yeah.
Or start the
But
problems.
the thing about it is, like, I don't go out of my way to talk about her.
No.
To anybody.
Right. This is the first time you're telling your story, pretty much.
It is. It's not pretty much. It is. Okay. This is the first time
I'm proud of you.
I've said anything.
Yeah.
And I can go a lot deeper into a lot darker places that this would lead to.
Right.
But this is the first time I've said anything about it.
Yeah, I get that.
To anybody.
Publicly, especially.
To anyone.
Yeah. Well, not to me, but like, yes.
Yeah. 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 And I just think to myself, at what point in time are you just gonna
let it go?
Stop.
Yeah.
Like, your infidelities caused this to end.
Yeah.
Your infidelities caused me to have a lot of trust issues with women. I say that.
I get that.
I don't trust very many women.
I know.
At all.
I know.
So like if I have a woman on social media, like on Facebook,
yeah,
like, you know how many I have on there.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
And it's not because of any like control issue from me. It's because he doesn't trust women.
It has nothing to do with you.
Exactly.
It's my
preference.
Yeah, because if I have you on there, then I trust you.
Yeah.
If I say add someone on there and then I take them away, it's because there's something. And this is men and women. This just isn't women specific. This is like when I do the purge thing too, is like, if you're an acquaintance, we haven't talked in the longest time and there's no relationship there, gone. Okay. But if you're a man or a woman and I see you're doing sketchy things, or I have some vibe from you, gone.
Oh. Okay.
No, I will not allow my life to have anything like that. Any compromising thing in my life, because she was a giant compromise. Right. She could have compromised everything.
I feel like that shows your integrity, and I think you have a lot of integrity. That's actually one of the things, I don't know if you know that, it's actually one of the qualities that drew me to you. Because when we first met, and then like, fun fact, when I came up to your house, well, this is not a fun fact for you, it's a fun fact for the listeners, but when I came up to your house and you were going to work, you actually said I love you by accident for the first time out loud.
I did.
And
I was like, fuck. Oh, she didn't hear that.
I didn't hear that, so I just ignored it.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest qualities that actually drew me to you was the integrity that you have, and that like need to like keep me safe. I really felt safe with you, and that's something that, in all seriousness, I never had felt in a really long time. So yeah, I don't know if you ever knew that.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got issues with women that I'm still trying to work on. And you and I have talked about this in length before, about needing to break those barriers down. And through time, it's getting better.
For sure. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else you want to add after sharing that experience with us?
With my ex-wife?
Yeah.
Like I said, this is like, I could go into like a
Well, you
lot
just
deeper
surface
things.
level. Yeah.
Yeah. Surface level.
We can save the deeper stuff for another day.
Yeah. If you're on my social media as a lady,
Congratulations.
I trust you. Congratulations? What? Like what? Oh, I'm just a trophy friend.
Trophy husband.
I know I am, but no. No. If you're a lady and I have you on my social media,
yeah,
I trust you, and I don't want, if you listen to this, I guess I don't want you to think that I'm not your friend, because I don't know.
I feel like that's because we don't have friends of opposite sex.
I don't know.
But
I don't like that. I don't like
the term.
Let me take that back. I don't like, because I've said this for years, I don't have women that are friends.
Right.
I will be friendly to you. I will talk with you. You can confide in me. But like, when I think of the term friends, it's like, this is someone I can hang out with one-on-one. Nope.
Right. Yeah. No, the same
No.
for me. Yeah.
No.
Yep.
So, and not friends, but but more than associates. I don't know.
You're friendly without being flirty. There you go. That sounds good.
Friendly without being flirty?
Yeah.
What?
I don't know. I just made that up.
That's not me at all. I'm the nicest guy ever. But that's a good transition, because you've had many yelling at me, screaming sessions, we'll say, at me about how I'm just this flirtatious guy. I'm like, I am not. You've done it. You're like, yes, you are. I'm like, no, I'm not.
The thing is, you are very smiley. There's a certain,
if you're trying to be a nice person and be nice and cordial, aren't you supposed to smile?
Yeah. I mean, I've done that a couple times.
But you've said to me, like, that's taken as flirting. I'm like, I was just saying hello.
You're the only one that's going to get this reference, and I can say it now. And I'm not going to say the name, but oops, I like your dog. And then I awkwardly walk away. And now I can look back on that and laugh. Yeah. Because,
but like, you said that to me. I'm like, Lindsay, I don't think that's what it is. I'm just a chill dude.
Anytime a girl flirts with you, it goes right over your head. And you're like, I always tell people, a girl could just be like, woo, and just flash you some signs. And you'd be like, do you need any help? That's literally how I think of it. It's not an insult. It's kind of funny.
You're like, that woman was flirting with you. I just think she was being really nice.
Woman takes her top off and you're like, do you need any help with that?
Do you need a new shirt?
No, like that's funny. I
always carry a
comedy
spare.
in that. Yeah, exactly. Oh, let me just give you my shirt. Yeah,
here, take that one. I've got another.
I'm very friendly too, though. People think I'm flirty sometimes, and I'm not. But the thing is I'm not. And half of the time, I'm not even nice. It's not intentional. I just have a very strong, resting B face. Is it R or RBF or RFB? RBF. Yes, I had to think about that for a second. I wish we had visuals, because these visuals would be amazing.
Yeah.
His face when I say things that are stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, I'm not a flirtatious person. I don't even try to be. I try to just make jokes and make people laugh. Yeah. I've always done that ever since I was a kid.
Yep.
I could be a comedian.
What did you, transitioning. Mm-hmm. I'm going to just talk like Andrew, because he was in radio, you guys. He went to college for radio. But transitioning into being a kid, Andrew used to tell them, I'm just going to ask you to tell them about your Top Gun experience in the mornings. This is a fun fact about my husband.
Fun fact. So when I was a little kid, I used to love watching Top Gun. I loved every second of it, except for like the weird kissing scene. I would always like just kind of walk away, because there was no like gunfighting, like, well, not gunfighting, but like plane action of like dog fighting. And I was like, this is stupid. As a little kid, you're like, this is dumb. So you walk out of the room for a few minutes, wait till the sappy music quits, and then, you know, go back in. But anyways, so what you're talking about is I used to have a ritual on Saturday mornings.
I hope your mom listens to this.
I would put Top Gun on, and I would always turn the volume as loud as it could go, because at the beginning of the movie they're on the aircraft carrier and they're loading up the F-14s, and you hear everything. You hear the jets winding up, and then as soon as it goes, just the theme song for Top Gun kicks off, and I would have that thing cranked, and I would just be sitting on like this. It's like a leg rest, and I'd be sitting on it, and I'm just acting like I'm flying, right?
Oh my gosh.
And I'd be like, "Oh, we're in the danger zone."
Oh my gosh.
And then my mom would come out pissed. I mean, just coming out to just beat me into the ground. And I'm like, you can't. I'm like, call me Maverick.
Oh my God.
Like, danger zone, Mom. Greetings with
She's
the middle
show
finger.
You danger zone.
I got shown more than one danger zone. Phrasing.
Yeah.
Phrasing.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was not happy a lot.
That's funny.
But
so you weren't a pilot. You didn't become a pilot. What's your career now? Since you obviously
told people, I'm a cop.
Oh, did I already say that?
I'm pretty sure.
I don't think I did.
Surprise. I'm one of the people you hate.
Andrew.
What?
Okay. This is how our conversations actually go in real life, you guys. So this is just how it is.
It's just every day.
Yep.
Welcome to the call. Never mind.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so he is in law enforcement.
Yep.
And he's been deployed.
Yep.
And
yeah. I've been to war. I've fought in war. Almost died in war.
What do you feel like your biggest accomplishment in life has been?
My biggest accomplishment in life.
You've been around the world and you've seen a lot. So what do you feel like your biggest accomplishment has been? Or what are you like most proud of, I guess, maybe?
Oh, that's easy. Being a dad.
Oh, that was so sweet. You're a great dad. I do have to tell. I do have to brag on you for a second. You are a great dad. To all three.
Think about it this way. That's being a parent is like the greatest accomplishment in life.
Absolutely.
Because it brings your life full circle. I
love that.
Yeah, you get to make people, and you get to raise them and guide them to be a member of society.
Productive member.
Yes.
Yeah.
You get to watch them grow and watch them learn. You get to watch them go from making little whimpering baby noises to full-fledged conversations, and watching them learn and discover and think. Like when they start to actually kind of like think and process things.
Oh yeah.
And then have an articulated conversation. That's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, that's the greatest thing. But then you start to think about when they were little, making little whimpering noises and little baby talk. And now instead of like wanting them to have these articulated conversations so you can talk with them, you want them to go back to the baby noises.
You trying to make
us
cry?
And the little and you know, the little just balls of love that they are. It's very...
You are very in your feelings.
It's very
rewarding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade it. I never thought I would have kids when I was younger.
Are you happy you had kids with me? Well, a kid with me so far?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe having one more?
Maybe.
Something?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're a really good dad.
Mm-hmm. I can tell you, I remember thinking when she was little, like a month old, I can remember thinking just at my old house, because it goes along with like one of those like videos on our Snapchat of
Yeah.
like me talking to her. And she's
Oh
laying
yeah, I
on
know
my
what you
bed
Yep.
and she's like making the little noises at me, and I'm just like, yeah, tell me all about it, 'cause she keeps,
I remember that video.
you
I actually
know,
have it saved in my favorites.
me too. And I remember thinking to myself, where have you been all my life? Because it felt complete, still does.
Yeah.
And you know that that put like life into perspective for me,
Yeah.
like full circle. I think at that point in time, just like, hey, like this is what life is about. It's not about who's got the biggest house, the nicest cars, who's slept with the most men or women, who's gone to Hawaii or the Caribbean, or who's gone to Europe, or who's fought in a war. None of that.
Who's having fun at their houses?
Yeah. Oh, who's in a big you in? Because that's a weird big thing in this community, which is like, okay, whatever. No, it's none of that. It's having a small person, a baby, grow into a child, grow into a teen, grow into an adult,
Mm-hmm.
grow into a parent.
I used to think that like, and I think I've talked about this. I used to think having a big circle was like what I wanted. I wanted that like big circle, and I wanted to have like parties on like on the weekends, and I wanted to have, like go out and all this stuff. And now I'm like in my 30s, and I mean I've been in my 30s for a little bit, but like I'm just saying like now I'm to the point where like staying home on a Friday night and like watching a movie and like being with you and the kids and like those things, like I'm like getting into gardening and like how like making my own butter, which actually is more easier than people think, but those are the things that
More
matter.
easier?
Easier, sorry. Wow. I have a
You have a
master's
master's
degree,
degree,
I
right?
know. um those are the things that matter. Having like minimal like I don't need a huge 7,000 square foot mansion or like a Lamborghini to make me happy. I'm okay with like our home, and like
Yeah.
I'm
I
okay
don't
with
need
the
to go on
small
these
things.
big exotic
Right,
vacations.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree.
I feel like people who feel the need to show those things off or do those things all the time, and there's no judgment here, but I feel like when you make your life look really, really glamorous, sometimes like those are the loneliest people
mm-hmm.
because you're filling that void with material things rather than meaningful things, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
100%. And I mean, yeah, like when I was a teenager, I had a small group of friends. I didn't need much, never really
yeah.
did. But in my 20s, I had like, especially when I was in my guard unit, like a lot of us got along. A lot of us were in a big friend group and things like that. It was a lot of fun. Went out and had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Made a lot of memories. But you know, if big groups have shown me one thing, it's if one guy fucks up, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But
I
if one
do.
guy will fuck up and say, and well, get caught looking at another woman, and then try and turn around and say it's a different woman,
Yeah,
and
that was pretty bad.
then spread rumors about that, and you call them out on it, and they can't back it up.
But it's like the domino effect. If one
Yeah,
falls, they all fall.
yeah, and that's
Yeah.
what it was.
Yeah.
Even guys who had nothing to do with it,
Yep.
guys that were close friends like brothers.
Yeah, that was a really interesting dynamic to watch.
It was, and one guy wanted to say and do one thing, and because he didn't want his wife mad at him, because he's a piece of shit. Um, and then another guy who's also a cop, but in a different city.
Yep.
One of the guys who really helped me get into law enforcement. He just wanted to go with it. He didn't even bother to ask. I'm like,
Yeah.
really, you're a cop yourself, and you're not gonna say, hey, wait a minute, I know how you are. Let me ask him to see what's really going on, and you just take his word.
I remember that. Yep.
All the other guys that were there that were
Same
in
thing.
that tight knit group, sorry boys, I'm out of here.
Well,
Big
and
middle
it's
finger to all of them. Cut them all out.
and it kind of goes back to the boundaries thing that we've talked about, like respecting yourself more than like giving into conflict or drama or things like that, because people are going to come and go in your life, and
100%.
unfortunately that's just how it is.
Oh, it is how it is. Yeah, people come and go.
Yeah.
Maybe that's another reason why. Maybe that's why some people think I'm a really cold-hearted person. Is
Well, I
because
don't think you're cold
I
hearted.
have no issues with cutting people out of my life and how it doesn't bother me.
I think that's a sign of strength. And I don't know how many episodes you've listened to, but like I feel like when you have those bigger groups or like you don't have those boundaries, that it really just brings it lets a lot of things in that shouldn't come in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I think, I don't know, for me, I had a lot of experiences early on with people just being assholes,
Were you
lack of a
bullied in
better
high
term.
school?
Um,
Or did you have what was your experience like in school?
I mean, I got along with a lot of people for a long time, but then by the time like seventh, eighth grade into high school came around, it just drifted away from everyone. I mean, I lived outside of town, like right out in the county, and I wasn't allowed to go into town
Mm-hmm.
um, until I was like in high school, which was weird, but whatever. Parents' rules, parents' rules. I'm not gonna disobey my parents. I'm gonna show them the respect that they are because they're great parents.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a great childhood. But no, like I didn't. I just wasn't in these groups. I mean, I didn't live around any of them. I didn't live near them. Um, there were. I didn't drink alcohol. I didn't smoke weed. I didn't smoke cigarettes. I didn't start chewing until I was like 17. And I
Your
smoked.
mom told me a story about finding some in your room.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, yeah.
I'd probably react the same
Yeah.
way.
My dad told me to leave it alone.
Yeah.
He was like, "I can't stop you, but don't do it."
Yeah. I used to smoke cigarettes.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just one of those things. But I don't know. I find too in this community, since being from here, if you're not in a group, then you'll just be ostracized from every group.
Yeah. Do you still feel that way?
That's what it is here.
Yeah.
I know that, and there can be plenty of people from around here who will say, "Oh, that's not it at all." Smoke and mirrors. That is what it is.
Okay.
Because in that same breath, I'd say, "Okay, then you remember that person. I know you do. Go talk to them.
Yeah.
Have a drink with them.
Yeah.
Catch up with them." Oh, I don't really remember. We were never really friends, but no, groups
Yeah.
don't matter. In this town, it does because there's nothing to do in this community. So
Yeah.
your social group is what you're in. But if you're not in any social group, you'll be an outcast to all of them because you're just not one of them. That's fine. Don't need to be part of anybody's group.
I
Don't
like
care
hearing.
to be a part of anybody's
Yeah.
group because at the end of the day, I don't need anybody but me.
Yeah.
And that's my mentality. That's been my mentality for a long time. Obviously, since I have a family, things like that. I have my family. I'm good to go.
Yeah.
But if for some reason family disappeared, I
Well,
have
geez,
myself.
guys, if you
Well, if you ever pack the house up and I come home like, oh my God, where'd they go?
I was actually gonna say if I
They
ever
go
disappear.
they go on a vacation somewhere without me. No,
No,
but
I like your honesty though, and I like hearing your experience because I'm not from this town, so I don't have experience with this town besides moving here at the beginning of COVID, which I lived in the house for a solid year. So,
well,
it's just interesting to see things from different perspectives.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've lived in. I went to the public school
Yeah.
in this town, and I grew up right outside of it.
Yeah.
19, moved into town. I've been here since I was 19 in town,
Okay.
but I've been in
This
and around
community.
my entire life. I
Well,
know
then,
how this community is. I know what it's like.
yeah.
And for somebody to say, this is a great community, lie. Maybe to you it's a great community,
But you
but
don't
to
feel
somebody
that.
who can see outside of it,
Uh-huh.
it's not.
Yeah.
What's there to do in this town?
I feel like
Besides drink and go to a bar and a movie.
right. I feel like you've had
There's
a lot of experiences though that have not made it great. So
I've had a lot of experiences here. I've had a lot of experiences outside of this community, outside of this state, and outside of this country.
oh, for sure. You've done a lot.
Mm-hmm. So my perspective is even more open.
You've had a lot of life experience.
Mm-hmm. My perspective in my career field.
Yeah.
Just helps solidify all of that.
Mm-hmm.
That there are, when you are labeled in a group,
mm-hmm.
you are in that group forever in this community. You could be somebody who came from a low income family who made something for themselves in this community. That doesn't matter. You're
right.
still in that low group.
Oh.
Regardless. Once you get put there, when you're when you're going through school,
yeah,
if that's you,
mm-hmm.
you could be a millionaire.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, and people, who are the top tier group when they're in high school, they can be a mail carrier now, and they could doesn't matter, they'll still look down on you as if you are below them, even though you have a better career than them.
And I don't get why people look down on people in general. It doesn't, maybe that's the social worker in me, but it's just not something
it's
I'm
just
into.
This community,
right?
This community thinks that they are this area, but
it's much better. Not necessarily the area is better. I'd like to get back there someday.
Mm-hmm. That whole area is better, but no, people will even say, "Oh,
yeah,
name 5 things for they're at than does better than."
Well, they don't have a Who Hot, so yeah.
Nope.
And I love the Who Hot. That's all I thought.
Oh, we got a movie theater with reclining chairs. Des Moines has had that for 15 years plus.
Have you ever been to Flick's Brew House in Des Moines?
Really?
Oh, we went there on our date weekend. Oops.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
We saw the Winchester House movie there.
I did. I forgot about that.
So yes, I've been to Flick's Brew House. Yeah, they have a Flick's Brew House.
Yeah, I love that place.
Yeah, the food's probably not the greatest, but still.
Depends on what you get. They've changed their menu a couple times. Because I went when it first opened, but now they have in Ankeny they have a bowling alley, and a playground, an indoor playground, and a movie theater all in the same building.
That's awesome.
And I really wanted to go there when I was down there a couple weekends ago, and I didn't get to. But I want to go down there.
Yeah, they've got.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. So I don't know, it's just one of those things when people who are from this community say, "Oh, so great, and we have all this stuff." What are you talking about? You're talking about like
we
15...
just got a Chick-fil-A.
Who cares?
Is that how you say it? Chick-fil-A?
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A?
Who cares? No. That place is disgusting. I've had their food. I've never had it prior to it coming here.
Mm-hmm.
I've had it twice. It's disgusting.
Well, did you know
Chick-fil-A is not superior to Wendy's chicken sandwiches?
Did you know that?
One second. Sorry for interrupting.
It's okay.
The chicken sandwiches, the crispy chicken sandwiches at Quick Star are better than Chick-fil-A.
I don't like those either. But that's
I was thoroughly disappointed with Chick-fil-A. I will not eat there again.
One thing I learned about Chick-fil-A on a different podcast
they soak their chicken in pickle juice.
No, that too. But they actually have hormones in their chicken that, and this is real, guys. You can look it up. They actually, and I think it's more than just Chick-fil-A, obviously, but fast food places will soak their chicken in certain things, and then they have hormones in them that can actually cause infertility, PCOS, and all these defects with women, and it can cause them to go into menopause earlier, and it can actually cause testosterone issues in boys. And so it's a hormonal
I don't
issue, and
doubt
it's
it.
creating hormonal imbalances. And it's just something I learned, and I'm
I
thoroughly
don't
like
doubt it.
grossed out by
Did you
fast
ever
food.
hear about the kind of chickens that are bred from McDonald's?
No.
They're genetically changed to be born without
What?
feathers or beaks. They don't grow feathers and they don't have beaks.
I'm still going with the conspiracy that it's human flesh. So.
Oh my God.
Sorry. Just going with that.
No.
I just wanted to know, how do we have enough meat to supply every fast food chain in this entire world? It's human. I saw this on TikTok. I'm joking. I'm just joking.
You remember that time you asked me if -7 was warmer than -10? No, sorry. If -10 was warmer than -7 because it's
This
the
is getting a
opposite.
little too personal for me. Yes, I remember that.
Yeah. And I asked you to think about it. And you did.
What else do you have? What other dark little secrets and all these little fun facts that you have about me? What are we doing now?
About you?
Oh, I probably shouldn't have asked that.
Maybe that's better left for another day.
Well, yeah. No, I think it's been interesting talking to you.
Say specific.
Say what?
Specific.
Specific.
What is it?
Specific.
Just say it naturally. Specific.
Specific.
Say Pacific.
Pacific.
What?
Pacific. Pacific. Specific. So fudge. Specific. Pacific. Specific Pacific. Is that really annoying?
That's
I'm
very
sorry, you
specific
guys.
about the Pacific.
It's very specific about the Pacific. Yeah, no.
Hey, Lindsay. What country is Paris in?
France.
Wow. You got it right this time.
I sure did.
Where's the United Kingdom? Where's the United Kingdom?
In the Ukraine?
The United Kingdom.
It's in Russia. You guys, I went to school for social work, not social studies.
Lindsay? Don't look at the map. We have a globe map. Don't look at that.
Okay.
No.
Okay, what?
This is common sense stuff. Okay? Common sense. Where's Brazil?
In Brazil?
What continent? Don't look.
South America.
Like after you looked.
No, I knew that because it's on the bottom half of the
really?
world.
If you'd have known that, you wouldn't have looked at our globe map.
Brazil is in South America.
Really? What country is it next to?
Africa.
There
I didn't look at the map.
There you go.
Is it right?
No, Africa's a continent, you ding dong.
Oh. I mean, I'm not like a travel agent or anything, so it's okay.
A travel agent. Oh my God.
No, I'm not that great at knowing
The
where
United
things are.
Kingdom's in Ukraine. Just kidding, it's in Russia. Where's the United Kingdom?
England.
That's one of the United Kingdom.
Oh.
What's the others?
I don't know.
Get off your phone.
I'm not on my phone, so
okay.
I really don't know.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you a question. I don't know.
Okay. In the comments, what's all in the United Kingdom? What are the countries? Lindsay needs to know.
Yes, please answer that. And, feel free to reach out for some.
To help this woman.
Yes, absolutely.
When was the first crusade?
Wait, what's a crusade? I know. This is so embarrassing. You are turning this into something that's not funny.
You know what a crusade is.
A war?
Okay, yeah.
Where's the first war?
Oh, God.
I don't know.
The first war. Where was the first war?
Okay, I'm gonna
No.
I don't know, Andrew, so
Oh, God, Lindsay, this is...
Israel.
Oh, no.
Jerusalem.
It deals with that.
Yeah. Okay, so anyways,
But, no. Okay.
oh my God. Okay.
Like I said, I'm not going to ask anymore. Because, obviously, this boat is going in a direction that you don't know how to sail to.
Like the Titanic.
It sank.
Yep.
Where did it sink?
By Ireland. On that side in the cold water.
What's that cold water called?
The Atlantic Ocean. Pacific Ocean.
What?
I don't know.
Which one is it?
The Pacific. No, sorry. The
What?
Atlantic.
Are you sure it's not the Black Sea?
I don't know.
Lindsay, come on.
It was the Arctic. I'm just kidding. Okay.
Oh, Lord.
I don't think people want to hear me not knowing history facts. I can tell you anything about other stuff, but
Oh, really? What's 3 to the 15th power?
what?
Huh?
Okay. Anything but math and history.
Okay. Anything but math and history. Okay. How many bones are in the human body?
Like 102. I don't know. I think like 102 or something.
Why are you on your computer? Stop Googling.
I'm not Googling.
Uh-huh.
Let's see. 206 bones. 206. Yes.
Is she correct, chat? Let her know.
Yeah, I am correct.
Talking as if yelling millions of
I was trying to figure out like what bones were we at. 206 bones in the human body. Yes. So you went to radio broadcasting school?
It's a program at Iowa Central.
What was your radio name?
Andrew.
Oh. You didn't have like a code name? Did you?
Like a alter ego?
Yeah, did you have an alter ego or did you have like a show?
Like my own radio show?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how that went is obviously you would learn how to like make commercials and ads and things
Was it
like
fun?
that. It was. Yeah, like that first year was a lot of fun. And then you would go on there for like an hour or two and you would have like a second year student with you or whatever to help make sure you're doing it the right way, get the ad setting, the music set in. And then at one point in time, if the teacher who had the broadcasting class, you would do an hour by yourself. And if they would listen to you on the radio and if they're like, hey, you're good, let them, hey, yep, good to go on your own now. Or hey, do it one more time. And then, so once you get the clear, then you start hosting the radio on your own.
Do your best radio voice.
Oh, I don't. That was in 2009.
Oh.
2010, 9, 10, so 15, 16 years ago.
So when you had spunk.
Oh, fuck, that was a long time
God, you're
ago.
old.
Heck yeah. Which is fine. I'm fine with that. But no, at one point in time, so when I remember when I was in high school, they would have a show called Midweek Metal. And that was always a lot of fun.
Metal music?
Yeah. Okay. So like every Wednesday from like 9 to 11.
911. Sorry.
Anyways, you would have, or it's like 8 to 10, something like that.
810.
So it'd be a 2-hour, it'd be considered a specialty show.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Some specialty shows like the morning, every morning they'd have a specialty show for a couple hours, and then like Friday nights would be like from like however long, like 8 to 10 or 9 to 11, whatever that was again.
Yeah.
You'd have like a modern music, like pop music thing, like party music, for people to go out having on the weekend, things like that. But every Wednesday was midweek metal, and that was when I was in high school, and then it was still there when I was doing my broadcasting thing. And there were a couple of guys who were like second year guys. They did it the year prior, but like they'd always play like kind of like the same like 5 bands, same songs just over and over. People got annoyed with it, and they kind of quit doing it. So like the second half of the year, my first year, I got to take that over because I really wanted it, and I played everything. From new stuff to older stuff.
An array of music.
Metal music,
yeah, that's what I was. Nice.
And I remember I had a lot of views. Like I'd have people call and request songs. It was pretty cool. Like you kind of gotta fudge it a bit. It's like, oh, another requested song was just a song that you put in, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I get like the average, if you had like a good show, would get like anywhere from like 2, 3, 4, 5 requested songs. And I would get that. Like people would call in. Yeah. We had a phone in the studio and it would flash. Oh, cool. Like, oh yeah, this 88 won the point. What's your request?
Like, what was your alter ego name? I
didn't have one. I just used my name.
Oh.
So I would do that.
Andrew.
Yeah. And I remember I got like letters from guys at the prison.
What?
They were like, dude, we fucking love your show. You just kicked it off with Slipknot. And because like they had like some of their songs that were kind of like some of their older songs that were like really heavy, and then I'd play like Slayer and everything like that too. And
they probably made their days.
Oh yeah. Awesome. And they would obviously write down, and like they would send that out, and you get it like a day or two later. And so I always made sure to like get that, and like I played those songs specifically that they asked for, and be like, oh, that's for Darren locked up in cell block 6 or whatever.
Oh my god.
I don't know. Out at the Fort Dodge prison.
That's
for you, bro.
Oh my god.
But yeah, no, I had a lot of fun doing it.
That's hilarious. Weren't you on like a show at one point? Like you didn't have like a little show? Yeah,
so this
I wanted to hear about that.
Yeah,
that's
so this guy
for.
We'll call him Frank.
Yeah.
So one of our assignments was we had to come up with, it was an ad. Mm-hmm. Well, Frank always loved to do like, he was always a really funny guy, and he tried acting at one point in time, like, and he's like 4 years older than me, and so he lived out in California for a little bit, and then he came back to Fort Dodge area where he's from, and went to school for that. And he's the reason why I did like criminal justice when I came back from my deployment, things like that. Yeah. So he created this show. Well, it was created this little kind of like skit, and it was like a very like kind of like noir style thing, where he had this character named Ben Bauer, and he was like a private eye, and he was investigating like some kind of murder, and like he like broke into a house, and like some guy was killed, but then like some guy was there to try to kill him, and he ended up like throwing like out the window. But that spawned the adventures of Ben Bauer, because we all listened to it, and it's all really cool. And it went from like 6 to midnight, just like that.
Yeah.
Like, so he had 3 seasons of it total. So 3 years worth. And it was like 8 to 10 episodes, I think.
Oh, wow.
And like, they let us play him on the radio. It would always be at night too, but there were people like, yeah, we love these things.
Did your dad ever listen to it? I could see your dad trying to listen to something like that.
Probably.
Yeah.
But like, so, like I said,
if he can stop laughing, he can finish.
So Ben Bauer would fight crime, and he had all of these crazy characters who he would have to fight. One of them was called the TK Killer, and um, all the characters are based off of like guys in like our um in our class.
Yeah.
So everybody would voice a character. One of them, the TK Killer. And this was a dude I went to high school with. He was like this like robot kind of thing, and like he would try to kind of like a Terminator in a sense.
Yeah.
Well, but he had like a he's like a Terminator style body, but like covered in like the flesh from like the Terminator series.
Oh God.
But his insides were filled with taco meat because he'd always eat walking tacos.
That's funny.
So
you had fun with this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I voiced the character called Blowjobs.
We might have to pause this so he can collect himself.
Oh, it was.
I seriously wish we had a visual for watching you laugh right now because it's amazing.
You think you listen to it now, like Frank and I, we just. And then we had another guy. We'll call him Johnny. Me, Frank, and Johnny just died laughing, just listening to all of that. And then, by the time the second season came around, it went from like just a single guy to having, instead of the A team, it's called the B team, and it was Ben Bauer and three others. And by that time, I'd come back and I created this character called Feats McGuire because he's just like just something weird to go with it.
Yeah.
And so it was like having to fight this gigantic gelatinous blob of a creature called the Nagram.
That's funny. I'm pretty sure this is like bringing back really amazing memories for you because I'm thoroughly enjoying watching you laugh right now. Pull it together, babe.
The Nagram had to be killed with this ultimate weapon called the Odd Lid.
Oh my God.
When you guys are done with this, spell out the word Odd Lid and then turn it around. And then you'll know what it is.
Hold on. I'm gonna type this into
Odd OD lid.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's it's spelled backwards.
Yeah. Spell odd lid backwards.
Yeah.
But
I wasn't actually gonna say that.
Yeah. But then the last season was the B team had to go to hell because the Nagram was taking over hell and was to get back to Earth. So he had to go down there and then that's where Ben Bauer ran into all of his former enemies from season 1.
This just took a huge turn.
He ran into the TK Killer again. You ran into like a mutated form of Blowjobs and all these other guys.
Say that name again.
Blowjobs. Oh man, I had so much fun doing that character. It was funny. Hilarious.
No, that sounds fun.
That was a lot of fun. But because my big thing is what I wanted to do was I wanted to go work at Laser 103.3 down in Des Moines.
That was my favorite radio station.
Yeah, mine too. And then use that into stepping stone at that time to be on like satellite radio.
Do you want to know something
XM
crazy? I actually was in the Laser 103.3 Laser Girl contest.
Gross.
Yep.
You hussy.
Oh, well,
I'm just kidding.
That's weird. I actually got up to like the top, like I think it was like top 20, and then I, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know
nice.
why. I think I dropped out for some reason, but I don't remember why. But yeah, I sent some smutty pictures in there.
You in your early 20s kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, that's
just
me.
being a wild child.
I was.
Who isn't at that time? But anyways, yeah, that's what I wanted to do because I wanted to make a big name. But then going overseas, coming back, realizing like there's not a lot of money in this. Like,
right.
what's something more feasible? And I was just like, I really enjoyed wearing a uniform. And then I talked with Frank, and he's like, yeah, I'm finishing up this, and I'm also doing criminal justice, And he started talking to me about it. So I started watching a couple of like cop documentary things. And I'm like, that's it. That's the profession.
That's what got you here.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
And then some stuff happened along the way. Took me off that course for a while.
Yeah. Well.
And I didn't know what I was gonna do. And then I got fed up with life, with being at rock bottom, and changed it.
I think that's sometimes the best thing you can do, though, when you're at rock bottom, is just to push forward, like you said. So, comes full circle back to the beginning of our conversation. So, we'll have to do a part 2, though, because there's a lot more stuff that we could talk about. I'm sure all the ladies would enjoy hearing the trophy husband talk. That was supposed to be a joke.
You can't mess with perfection.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
I was made perfect, thank you. Up there, big guns in the sky. He knew me before I was born.
Top Gun, all the way.
That was a reference to God, but okay.
Did
you, though?
You said big guy up in the sky or whatever.
Big guns up in the
sky, and I just thought of Top Gun. So
that was a Dane Cook reference. If you don't
I know who Dane Cook is. Yes, I do.
Really?
So, anyways,
God bless you.
I'm glad that you came on, and we're gonna have to do a part 2. So look out for the part 2.
I don't know.
Stop.
Probably need to be paid for that.
Meet me later.
I'll be asleep.
Okay, guys. Well, we're gonna go to bed. So we have a date tomorrow, so we have to get ready for that after we wake up. That made no sense. So anyways, it's just gonna log off now. So glad you came on.
Speaking of logs, you ever ask
what?
Never mind.
No, go ahead. What?
No.
Nope. We're doing this. What?
Lindsay lays big logs.
What? Okay, you guys, I can't. Okay. You laughed really loud into the microphone, so it's probably going to be really loud for people.
That's fine.
Okay. Well, I will see you guys later. Say goodbye.
Huh?
Say goodbye.
Say goodbye?
Yep. Like the one time I told you goodbye instead of good night.
Oh, yeah. Bye. Good night. Bye.
Yeah.
What?
I do that a lot. Not on purpose, but
yeah.
Anyways, guys, I'm going to bed because I'm really fucking tired. So.
Wow, language.
Yep. Well, kids are not around, so.
So?
Anyways, bye.
Okay, bye.